Monday, August 19th, 2024, we're on the regular meeting. Roll call, please.
Alderman Cox.
Here.
Alderman Hudson.
Here.
Alderman Wilkins. Alderman Decker.
Here.
Alderman Rogers.
Slightly.
Alderman Magley.
Yeah. Everybody stand for the pledge of allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Yes.
All right, that was just, no, comments from citizens. This time it was what, the, comments from citizens.
I'll start. You know me. I'm not afraid. Linda Mormon, 800 Gibson Court. What was ever decided about removing trees and stuff? I know, because people know I come to these meetings, they always ask me, well, when is the city going to take out all these trees that are done along the street? Has there been anything decided?
Well, I'll tell you, it's a big problem that's been
Oh, yeah.
to figure out. So we have met with members of the tree board. We're looking at different funding resources for it. There's not a whole lot of funding out there. So it's, we're working on it basically.
Okay.
How many trees we got?
I surveyed the first ward, and the trees that are dying, and they're in the city right away, 183 in Ward 1.
Oh, I don't doubt that.
And you probably say 600.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not all, some of them haven't lost a whole lot of leaves, some of them, started to thin in the top, but there's a lot of them that are.
I mean, there's so many dead limbs just hanging everywhere.
Yeah, but the number of dead trees and dying trees, beyond that, there's that many more.
Oh, I
Right away that we won't touch. We're at this point that, and what we've looked at, what we've talked about, and where we've gotten to this point, is we anticipate we can take out 900 trees in the next 3 years. That would be prioritized, by, risk, right?
Right.
So we're looking at doing that, we're going to plot those trees and do all of that, and try to get our hands around a comprehensive plan of how we're gonna be able to do this. I guess, if it came with, we were made aware of it 10 years ago or so, or close to 10 years ago, that we were gonna have a problem coming because we had planted all ash trees, what we've done in these right of ways, and, great trees, so it's a disease, right? So, we've been educated a little bit. So it makes sense. You're supposed to plant 3 different varieties of different species of trees. That way it prevents these situations.
So, okay. I understand all that, Chris.
Well, what a lot of people don't, he's taking that down.
Well, I mean, I assume Matt's getting a lot of phone calls to determine if they're on the right of way or if they're in people's yards and stuff. Okay. We had talked at one point, you all, but I think it was brought up by some of us, about charging a fee for every time Matt needed to go out for an inspection, fences and stuff. Is that not something that we can do? Is there not have we never followed up on that?
I have not followed up on charging purposes.
Okay, I just was curious. Okay, the other big one. Apparently the house right behind, or the 2 houses right behind Eagle Stop have traded hands. I have no idea, I have to look them up. But there are times when you can't turn around, you can't get down the street. Because there's 5 and 6 cars, and their driveways, part of them are full, part of them aren't, but they're almost up even with the Eagle Stop building.
You mean on the street?
Yes, sir, I did.
Yeah, and it's been brought to my attention too, to piggyback onto that, they park a pickup in the trailer there sometimes as you come around,
Mhm.
it's hard to make a turn. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I've seen, there, one time this weekend, there was 3 trailers in there with like 2 lawnmowers on each trailer, and the driveways were full, but they're all parked, I mean, I don't know if we can do anything about it. I don't know if we can put a do not park sign there or not. I just
We
wanted
may
to
want to
make
consider that intersection, close to that intersection, visit that intersection, and look at it, and potentially no parking.
Yeah, well, I mean, right now with roundabout, it's even worse because more people are turning down the other street instead of going around, so. All right, thank you. Your turn.
I'd be on that, so I was third in here though.
I just want to stop by and just say, what about the primary win on the District 44 city. And,
Sorry. Can you say your name?
oh, sorry, John Larson,
Thank you.
city rep, Republican Party. Thankful for the strong win, and I look forward to uniting conservative voters in the 44th. Under the themes of limited government, but also strong support for infrastructure, quality education, and also law. So I look forward to working with the city, hopefully, try to win in the general. Thank you very much.
Thank you for the time.
Justin Haas, 125 West Sims. I just want to come in and say thank you all. After last month's meeting, had several fellow members of the board, specifically the mayor and Mr. Hudson, talking to me specifically about, well, being willing to work in this situation we find ourselves in. And I just wanted to come in personally say thank you to all of you. It means a lot. We're taking steps to get permits all tomorrow. Get some paperwork. I think there's paperwork for renovation permits. Okay, so yeah, I'm on the way out tonight to get that ball rolling. Call soon today and they go through the city and involve with the inspectors and whatnot. So, it'll help.
Yeah, and, what we do want to see, we talked about the first time, you're accepting the rule when it comes to people, with these RVs in town that have a plan, right, for solid housing, right? So the one thing we're gonna want, that when you turn that in, is a timeframe, that timeframe, the schedule, of what work's gonna be done with. People thought if they put a board up once every 6 weeks, that's progress. It's not in my world or anybody else's world, that
Yeah.
once anything done in their lifetime. So that's my point. So if you could help us with that, that's what I'm trying to encourage you to do. I think in good relations with us here on the board, I think we'd absolutely want to see you succeed. Take that property, that was family property, and turn it into your home.
Yeah.
Does people work, but you're working on it, and you keep the place clean, neat.
Do want that, yeah.
And so that's the key thing, and have a schedule and sticking to it, and instructions that can change a little bit.
Of course.
And flow of money, that kind of thing, but please keep us up to speed on
Yeah,
that.
I'm going to make the meetings as I can, if we want to.
Or you can just update, if you want to, come and you want to give us a written update of where you're at and give that to.
Sure.
Terry, that's good enough for us.
Yeah.
Is it enough?
Thank you.
Boys Affairs, 510 North Drew Road, Centralia. I own a business at 1397 East Highway 22. I've rested it 3 weeks, so whether it's say anything, but I guess if I piss everybody off, the people that don't like it. I had great concern about your planning and zoning commission meeting up 3 weeks ago. Not from the perspective of any outcome that might be, because quite honestly, the zoning request is probably the manner in which it's handled. I spent the last 20 years as part of the state level and county level regulatory and administrative bodies. The improprieties in that meeting, I suspect, border on and any action taken as a result of that meeting. You had a commission member who had a family member directly involved in the transaction, who profited from that, who should have recused himself from them. You had 3 commission members call halt to the meeting, step out and have a closed door conference without the rest of the commission and without any sort of executive vision being on the agenda. And you had a motion that was properly made, was properly passed, to table the issue. And then before the meeting was over, the closed door meeting, suddenly took that matter up from the table at the same meeting and voted on it. I'm not an expert in Robert's Rule of Order, but I do know that the appearance of an impropriety is greater than the impropriety itself most of the time. There is no way to have looked at that meeting without something was said and done, the deal was cut, and all of a sudden, a matter that had needed more questions, needed more research, was suddenly taken from the table after being properly tabled and acted upon. And I'm not 100% sure, and I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, and I'll admit I'm wrong. I don't believe you can untable a motion in the same meeting that members of the commission who should have recused themselves, part of the commission having a private meeting and then it actually being taken, at the very least, smells great.
Okay, let me tell you one thing, when you're talking about to me, because my wife sold that property. No, it's not personal, let me help you. I'm not a voting member no, you hear me now, I heard you. I'm not a voting member of that committee of the planning and zoning. I sat on that as just, as an advisory role of taking in information on behalf of the board. Bottom line is, I didn't vote on anything, I don't vote on anything, if it comes before us, when it comes time, I will recuse myself at the time that I would have to make a vote. That's that one there.
And I would suggest that that could have been clarified at that meeting, and I stand corrected.
Yeah, because I wasn't voting, so there was no need for me to recuse myself from anything. None whatsoever.
Fair enough.
None whatsoever.
If I'm wrong there, I'll stand corrected.
Okay, well, and I'll let her talk about us going into recess, where we took the recess we talked to you about and called you about in that meeting.
My understanding is that there's a motion to recess, and even during the meeting, right now, he can ask for a recess for legal advice, or he can ask for recess, or in my understanding of the situation, there was not a quorum or majority in the closed session. He's non-voting, so while they are participatory advisors to the committee, there was no impropriety in them calling a recess. In terms of being able to table a motion and bring it back during the same legislative session, Robert's Rules of Order does allow a matter that is tabled during the same administrative session to be taken back into action during the same assembly. During legislative session, let's take that as a big, example, they never actually adjourn. They open a session and they adjourn at the next session, like where in April, they constantly table things and then reopen them during the same session. Robert's Rules of Order was designed to handle very large legislative bodies, parliament, meetings. So they can table a motion, and they can bring it back up during the very same legislative process. Missouri General Assembly does it all the time, United States Congress does it all.
Fair enough. Again, I'll stand corrected. Do you see, though, where the appearance of the impropriety was possible?
What I would like to correct you on, when it was tabled after we came back into recess. That's when the motion was, because it was Susan's advice to go ahead and table the issue. That's what I'm doing.
Yeah, I don't believe so. That's what raised the question. That's when it was tabled and then.
I think that there was.
But procedurally, procedurally, if I'm wrong, then I'll admit I'm wrong. It still looked very.
I'll tell you what, Lloyd, Robert's Rules of Order, when it comes to applying it to small communities, it's difficult. This is difficult for even large, sophisticated legislative bodies to keep track of it.
There should be a.
That's like some organizations, keep them up.
I stand corrected.
What's the chair? Yeah.
Thanks for clarifying.
I can't fully figure out but they didn't think of the phone call, so that's really okay.
Any other public? Yes, sir.
I have a, R3 zoning request in, as for several of you are aware. We are gonna formally, recall our zoning request. We do look forward to working with the city of Centralia. We're gonna reapproach you all here shortly. And Harold and Chris, thank you both for taking the time to come up, get some first-hand experience on some of the concerns that you all had. But, respectfully, we withdraw our request for now, and we'll revisit shortly.
And you were referencing when we came up on Friday, to see the development you had on.
Yes, the parking structure that was, to, put some keys today, what the parking structure for all three parking is gonna look like. Duplex and a structure versus single family home structure.
Right now,
We have on the agenda to change the wording of how it's written now, the ordinance that relates to that zone matter.
I don't know what's going to be here, but we can. Why?
something like me,
We, actually, now I think to return once the steps that need to be taken to will be applied. Yeah, we're looking forward to working with you all. We don't want to do anything outside of the scope of what the city wants as far as code, application of code. The concerns that the committees have, we hopefully address them individually, singularly, but the zoning change is just the first step of that process.
look forward to seeing you reach the middle.
Thank you. Appreciate your time.
Comments from citizens at this time? Taking that off, close comments from citizens, and we'll move to item 5, which is the public hearing. Public hearing notice, General Lawson, property at Sneed Street, Michigan. Public hearing's open.
I am Jenna. Do I need to speak? I don't have anything further to speak on, I guess.
You can basically say what, you applied for what your plans are, okay, the board members know.
So yeah, I'm Jenna Watson. I was speaking to them at the previous meeting. I'm a nurse practitioner in Columbia, and I specifically work with pediatrics. And my place of employment, Tiger Pediatrics, is willing to bring a satellite clinic to Centralia as long as I can provide clinic space to do so. The Boone Clinic here is completely full and to their capacity. Husband and I own the property on Sneed and Jenkins, and so it is my plan to hopefully rezone that to build a clinic and bring Tiger Peds to Centralia.
Comments from the public hearing on, the other properties, Sneed Street and Jenkins. Instead, I'll close the public hearing. Moves to D, public hearing on the 2024 tax rate notice.
So this is the property tax rate that we have to pass every year. And I have the tax notice in. They're gonna be, they did increase slightly over the previous year. And there was this bottom box, general revenue fund, gave, 0.6647 cents. And for the library, it would be the 55 cents, and the public parks would be the 0.297.
Why is the assessed valuation different to the city and this for the library? 40 million, for 31 million?
It's simpler library, you know, necessarily assess commercial properties with certain exclusions, whereas for personal property, real estate property, it doesn't need other sort of library. To be candid with you, Joe, I can't remember what from the library.
Pretty substantial.
Library,
Are you gonna say that?
the library boundaries are different than the city. It's basically just all old Centralia,
Oh,
and as Centralia grew, it did
oh,
not.
okay. That's different criteria. Okay, yeah,
The library does not get,
yeah. It's based on, I think, 1980.
And I believe the park.
That's what it was at the time.
Yeah.
So it's not. Yeah. I was, you know. It's been asking, I think. You might. That's the thing. All right, that moves us then, one more questions about the zone for, close that public hearing. For consent agenda, item 6, I would accept an approval of all of the, agendas. From A, the Board of Alderman meeting minutes, B, Public Works and Utilities Committee meeting minutes, C, General Government Public Safety meeting minutes, D, the Planning and Zoning minutes, D, the Collector's report, and F, activity report. Make a motion to approve consent agenda as printed. And a first and second to approve consent agenda as printed, all in favor? Opposed? That moves us to I said accounts payable over $1,250. Looking for motion to accept the accounts payable over $1,250. State of for 2024, there's a grand total of $395,530.47.
move that we approve accounts payable over $1,250 for a grand total of $395,530.47.
Second, first and second to approve the account payable of $1,250 for $395,530.47. All in favor? All opposed? Passes. To the action agenda, item 8. First one would be bill number
2548.
2548. Setting property tax rates for 2024. Let's take a first reading by title only.
Move that bill number 2548 be given its first reading by title only.
Second, have a first and second, that bill number 2548 be given its first reading by title only. All in favor? All opposed? First reading, please.
An ordinance fixing the annual rate of taxation in the city of Centralia, Missouri for the year 2024 for general revenue purposes for maintenance and support of the library and for establishing and maintaining free public parks. Move that bill number 2548 be given its second reading by title only.
Second, I have first and second, that bill number 2548 be given its second reading by title only. All in favor? All opposed? Passes. Second reading, please.
An ordinance fixing the annual rate of taxation in the city of Centralia, Missouri for the year of 2024 for general revenue purposes for maintenance and the support of the library for establishing and maintaining free public parks. Move that bill number 2548 be adopted by roll call.
Second. Bill number 2548 be adopted by roll call vote. All in favor? All opposed? Passes. Roll call vote, please.
Alderman Cox.
Four.
Alderman Hudson.
Four.
Alderman Decker.
Four.
Alderman Rogers.
Four.
Alderman McAfee.
Yeah.
Bill number 2540 passes. Ordinance number.
3195.
Thank you. That moves us, to item B, a motion to accept Kurt Heisinger's monument restoration bid.
What is it?
So, the past few years, we've set aside $10,000 in the cemetery fund to fix the old monuments that are falling over, cracked, or sliding off their bases. This gentleman, was our only bidder on the bid that we received. Seems to, have to meet all of our requirements. And then his price was what he's in charge basically per monument. $20 per monument, depending on if we've got some that are easier to fix and some that are probably more difficult to fix or more.
But we had to make the work for Williams Fix.
So we're working closely with,
Is this like for a year time frame, or what's the time?
yeah, he'd have to have the work done by March.
Who's over the cemetery?
But these are some.
Make a motion to accept the Kurt Heisinger's monument restoration bid.
Second.
Second, motion for monument restoration bid, all in favor? Aye. All opposed? That moves us to item C, motion to authorize the city attorney to modify Article 4, Section 31-24, subsection D, Superior zoning code.
So what I'm asking the board to consider is to make a motion authorizing me to redraft section G of the R3 zoning code. If you take a look at the R3 zoning code, subsection G, it currently reads, is open for interpretation, although based on my reading of this in conversations with the city, there seems to have been at some point in time more than like a scrivener's error in drafting this particular ordinance. Currently, as written, it states that an R3, residence purposes in R3 shall provide a minimum lot area of 6,000 square feet and not less than 2,500 square feet. Reading that single sentence, it appears to imply that not only do you have to have a minimum lot size of 6,000 square feet, but for each unit you're building, so in a duplex, it would be an additional 25 plus 25 for a square footage requirement of a lot of 11,000 square feet. Now, my understanding is the city drafted this section of this ordinance based on being county ordinance and its zoning code and its multi-family district. It actually reads and breaks down the size of lots for residences as follows. So for a minimum lot size is 7,000 square feet. The minimum lot size for a duplex is 10,000 square feet. And the minimum lot size for a multiple family dwelling is 2,500 square feet per dwelling unit. So what our code missed that Boone County contains is that when you move past the size of a duplex, it is based on 2,500 square feet per unit. So in a triplex situation, in Boone County, and if there's a chart that's farther down, which you can actually look at, triplex would be 2,500, 2,500, and 2,500 for 7,500 square feet per. I'm a lawyer. But this is the way it reads. It's very clear. Our code, again, when I was asked to look at this, seems to imply you need a 6,000 foot lot plus the 2,500 per, because it didn't include the breakdown for single residence, duplex, and then all. I'm asking this board to consider authorizing me to redraft that section so that we are consistent with the county. It would be a 6,000 square foot lot for a single family in a duplex. Anything beyond a duplex would be 2,500 square feet per family, which would fall directly in line with the. Excuse me, can I just ask one question?
No.
Okay.
It will be consistent with that from this point on.
We intended to be consistent with it. That was the heart of the reason it passed a couple of years ago, our planning and zoning commission. It's just this language was not completely transferred correctly, so they missed part of the language. But yes, Connie, it would be consistent and right.
Second, the motion, still we can discuss it. Second, to accept the motion of the Alderman attorney to modify Article 4, Section 31-24, subsection D, Superior zoning code. favor? Opposed? Passes. That moves us to D, legal. Bill number 2549. Rezone parcel land and changes to steam co-op, which you heard about earlier in the discussion for the asset plan. Any, comments, questions? And first reading. Reading on title article, rezoning parcel land and changes to steam co-op. Bill number 2549. I move that bill number 2549. Next reading by title only. Second. That bill number 2549 be given first reading by title only. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? First reading, please. An ordinance changes the zoning of certain lands in the city of Centralia, Missouri, to the zone district R3, zone district D1, and amending the zoning district map accordingly. Make a motion that the bill number 2549 be given its second reading by title only.
Second.
The first and second, the bill number 2549 be given its second reading by title only. All in favor? All opposed? Passes. Second reading, please. An ordinance changing the zoning of certain land in the city of Centralia, Missouri, zone district R3 to zone district B1, and amending the zoning district map accordingly. I move that bill number 2549 be adopted by roll call vote. Bill number 2549 is adopted by roll call vote. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Passes. Roll call vote, please.
Alderman Cox. Alderman Hudson.
Four.
Alderman Decker.
Four.
Alderman Rogers.
Four.
Alderman Magley.
Yeah.
Passes.
Taylor and Lee.
That moves us to item E, contract for the water breaker install, which is a resolution, bill number 2550. I'm going to explain what we're asking for, Tara, are you? Yeah, you can, no, you can, please.
So, I mean, we only received one bid for the reinstallation of the flaker, and so we need to authorize the mayor to accept a single bid because there was only a single bid provided to the flaker. DNR, reviewing that single bid because we did not get multiple under the funding statute for, revolving funds of the DNR. They usually require 3 bids to review, and since we only received one, it just takes additional level of review. So this is authorizing the mayor to sign that contract on basically the approval of DNR to accept the bid as opposed to.
To come, they haven't approved it yet, we've had been since last week, followed up on it, and we have no reason to think they're gonna reject, we've met all the criteria and trying to supplement the work we've done to be able to get to this and just get the bids. So I don't foresee any problem with that, that would be to pass this with the understanding based upon their approval. I'll make a motion, we adopt bill number 2550 by first reading by title only.
Second.
Or one reading.
Okay.
Because the first only, one and only reading. Oh, because it's only one and only reading by title only. First and second for bill number 2550, resolution, resolution, first and only reading by title only. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Passed. A resolution authorizing and directing the mayor of the city of Centralia, Missouri to execute a contract with Simcoe Contracting Group, LLC, in Denton, Missouri, upon approval of the single bid of Department of Natural Resources for the Centralia Water Treatment Plant Lake installation. I make a motion to adopt it by roll call vote.
Second.
At first and second, that the bill number 2550 be adopted by roll call vote. All in favor? Opposed? Roll call vote passes.
Alderman Cox.
Four.
Alderman Hudson.
Four.
Alderman Decker.
Or,
Alderman Rogers.
Four.
Alderman Magley.
Yeah.
bill number 2550 passes, resolution number
R-24-05.
Any old business this time? Hearing none, any new business? Nine, Mayor, I don't have anything. So, but I don't have anything, this Tennessee Administrator's monthly report, packet.
Just to point out a few things, we did close on the East Annex last month. They turned over, that, paperwork back files. Worked on a lot on the, rezoning applications, also worked a lot on RFPs, 2 of which closed in July with 0 bids. So having to, re-put out the tree board bid and, this was this month. The tree remaining clearance bid didn't get any bids. So I'm putting that one out again, and also the Parks Department roofing RFP did not get any bids either, so that one is going out again this month. Last month, the 2 that closed, was a cemetery bid. We did get one on that one, but the, financial advisory RFP did not get bids again, and that was came out. I'm in contact with our auditor, Williams Keepers, and they're going to be, getting back to me on what they can provide for us, our service solution.
Being our auditors and our,
So they recently had, I don't know how recent, but since the last time we talked to them about a year and a half ago, they had another division separate from their auditing services. So it won't be the auditors working on our financials, it'll be the,
some firms like that are not work and auditing under the same firm. Those are okay with it.
so far that seems to be coming. Final.
I mean, truthfully, that's one of those, I mean, it's a business decision for them, they have the rules and regulations that I would have to do it, they can do it, and they can do it, and
Now go to
They're, they encounter it. Oh, you're our auditor, can't do that.
Did anyone even inquire on the tree trimming?
No. I'll update you on trees when I get to mine.
It's becoming more and more concerning in general of the lack of participation bidding, whether it's refuge collection or whatever it may be, it's becoming very concerning because, you know, I mean, someday that whoever it may be, they don't have a legacy family, continue something going on, continue doing something that just above break even. It's gonna be hard to deal with the construction process. We're seeing this more and more, and that's not just us, it's all over the nation. People that are still have the workforce and have the ability to provide service. So,
One last thing I'd like to hit on is that I worked with Sydney and Dave with Fire California for the that we're going to try and get, and we came to an agreement on the contract as signed, and we're send in our down payment, so that process.
but, anything else? That moves to item 11, URC fund.
the last month was pretty busy with things, with friendly, revision for the, RFP for the grant writing for the, so that's still pending, and potentially some litigation matters that are getting through, and numerous functional responses that are through from places you would not necessarily anticipate functional requests from us. A lot of time looking at each, so we can pretty months back. staff to be able to, some of those are actually really dealing with less in addition to the redacting that's required in these one set of circumstances. We see a lot more law firms that ask for public records in lieu of pursuing discovery, which is part of the thing that happens, these public records. So they will ask for these records in anticipation or during litigation versus going through the court asking for a subpoena. So there's just a growing volume of, we see more litigation, which makes me the truth. Cities are releasing a lot more about trees. I'd say starting now, when you're going to be in the municipal league in a couple of weeks, there's going to be an entire section on trees. There have been a number of large litigations that are occurring out of Kansas City and St. Louis because those tend to be the drivers for most things in terms of change in the state. As a result, cities are having to become more proactive in removing these trees to the point that if you do not develop a tree maintenance schedule, and you actually start showing progress on removing trees in the right of way, several insurance companies, including the one that insures you, Murmah, will start denying you coverage for claims if you know that a tree is problematic and it is. So there's going to be more and more pressure on cities to start removing these trees. And again, we're not getting any financial assistance in many cases for these large scale trees. At the same time, people want parks, they want, those sorts of things to get proactive measures that were taken when cities became tree cities and other things years ago when they were incentivized to plant these trees, those incentives no longer exist. So Tara, Matthew, and I started to briefly talk about this, that there will be, and I know that the team is already developing a detailed tree maintenance schedule that we will have to provide as part of our next review with them. So that's why
I think one of the reasons we're not getting bids is because tree cutting companies are so busy. They're having so much business come to the door, just every day, because we had 3 trees cut with Coach. It took me long enough to get bids, and then it'll be 3 months before we can get there.
Well, I'm really curious to see what happens when ARPA funding has to be extended by the end of funding. All the projects have to be committed by the end of this year. So all the projects using that SOGA ARPA money have to be committed by the end of this year. Have to be completed, and all dollars expended for those projects by the end of 2026, December 31st, 2026, all those dollars have to be expended for those committed projects. I will be curious to see what happens after those conclusion, if that helps to, alleviate some of these issues of seeing the bidding, or if it is truly
It's a long time away.
The reality of trees for us is the reality of it. We have this, we call it $1 million plus project to, get the trees brought out in 3 years. I mean, this is a pretty daunting obstacle we have in our way at this point. And, it's concerning. We're gonna have to really work hard and dig deep and try to figure out what we can do.
Most of the trees will be as general fund. Anything around the power lines, we can, we've got to try and pop this out of general fund.
Say what I would get 80% of what out there in area. All right. So anything else?
Next month, and you guys will also be seeing a revision to your sign ordinance for posting public signs, putting public signs on people's legs while they're sitting on benches. There are reasons that we have on mattresses, and the reason we have to revise things, because, people come up with loopholes. So I will be rewriting your sign ordinance to make it absolutely pristine clear that no political sign, any maker, can be placed, put up, however you want to put it, into your public right ways, into your public parks, or your public areas.
Or can't say it is. Anyway,
Any candidate in the room, I should make issue, but
all right, yeah, move this into, are you done, young lady? Good, okay, thank you.
Just a couple of things, have some employee training set up for 9/11 for whoever's gonna come in and do a topic, but between the middle of that, we're not carrying lunch, so all the employees bring in food, so you guys are welcome to come and eat lunch that day. A reminder. The other is, as you mentioned,
4 will be attending MML, in September. That would be on the normal Board of Alderman meeting date of 9/16. You guys will move that back. You need to move the meeting.
We did last.
Yeah.
We moved it back.
It's much better to do that than having it. Caribbean.
All right, so is, anything else? Oh, yes, okay, that moves us to item 13, the closed session, motion, closed session, understand.
Yes, you don't make.
I move that we go into closed session during the meeting, the Board of Alderman, in closed session, we'll hold a closed vote, and the purpose of closed session shall be, one, provide information section 6100211, provide legal action, causes action, litigation involving public or moral body, and confidential or privileged communication between public or moral body, nine, preparation, including any discussion of work product on behalf of the public or moral body or its representatives, or negotiations with employees.
Second, closed session, all in favor? Opposed?
Alderman Cox? Alderman Hudson? Alderman Decker? Alderman Rogers? Alderman Mackey?
Yeah.
All right, we stand, citizen closed session, we back to. All right, we returned from, closed session into open session, no motion taken other than to come back into open session. So now at this time, it moves us to, as may arise. One thing that I would have is I need a motion to approve extending the house on 10th Street that's under construction. They're living in the trailer, for another 30 days. Hopefully. Second, all in favor? Passes. So if he's extended another 30 days, he's gonna bring in the plan, he's gonna start to give it to us here out of the office, and we'll keep everyone updated on that. Then that moves us to, I would like to move, due to the fact that in the meetings, I would like to move, next month's meeting from, the 16th to the 23rd, if we could, please.
That we move the Board of Alderman meeting from the 16th to the 23rd.
Second.
And first and second, move the regular meeting scheduled the 16th, typically to the 23rd. All in favor? All opposed? Passes. Is moved to the 23rd. And the third thing we have is, what?
I have it.
Yeah,
She needs to enter comment that failed to involve.
okay, so hold on. So now, go ahead.
I'd like to enter into the record a public comment from, resident Nicole Hudson, discussing the discussion, conversations that have been going around about joint communications centers.
Each of the members of the board have received a copy of that, correct?
Yeah, but they're good.
And I have my counter.
Their public comments. There's a copy. There you have it.
I think it moves to our final, as may rise.
Recently, taken a position with the school board or with the school as work with custodian full time. And we basically, I'm gonna have to recuse myself from being at these kind of meetings right now. It's gonna basically, it's not gonna allow me to be used again to do this. I feel like I can do it.
So at this time, you'd like to remove yourself as an alderman to be placed within the, what you're looking at, appreciate what you've been doing, so, I entertain a motion to accept, Lonnie's resignation from the, board.
Reluctantly, and I move that we accept Lonnie's resignation.
Second. Second for, to accept, Lonnie's resignation, all in favor? All opposed? Thank you, passes.
Does anybody have any complaints about the on 22?
You know, it's not been that bad, I mean, people kind of moan and groan a little bit about it, but I haven't anybody really blow up and throw a fit or anything about it, you know, I think that's kind of bad. The one thing I've heard is, he's gone, but I've heard that, coming in from the north, that we were told that you couldn't use the fairground
That's what I was told.
street to cut through, and I need to find out about that.
And I went down today, and there was 2 barricades, and
Why can't that be, I don't understand why they can't be.
Okay, so the problem is, we got notified on, I believe, Wednesday. When we had someone go out and sit and watch the traffic on the road, in 10 minutes time, we had 6 semi-tractor trailers travel down Fairgrounds. That kind of traffic,
well, there's
traffic is going to ruin that.
there's no detour signs anywhere out there. There's none.
There was discussions with MoDOT, between Matthew, the foreman, and the MoDOT foreman.
I thought that was part of it when they had that meeting, they were going to detour signs.
MoDOT was stressed because they weren't, prepared to close down Fairgrounds, so they know that they're gonna need to get more signage up. So what the city did was we tried to close it to truck traffic and, leave it open for through traffic for regular passenger sized vehicles, and I'm not sure that that worked. So,
Well, because once you get the tractor trailer down there, you know, I mean, you gotta.
So it's going to be closed completely.
if we can't keep the trucks off.
About school bus.
And MoDOT will, there was discussion around school buses.
What are the trucks doing now since they've closed it, barricaded it?
Going around.
So how, what are they coming from the north to, are they grain trucks or what are they?
I believe it's a mix. But yeah, it's farmers, several farmers. But it's going to destroy the road.
Which road is this now? Thank you.
And then it's on our dollar.
MoDOT's responsible for doing that, finding detours, I say, aren't they?
Providing the detours, the side roads, whatever, yeah, so if they can't use our road, let's figure something else out at this point, I guess.
Detours, yeah.
You'll have to build in another lane or whatever. It only plowed down.
I don't know, heard that supposedly the budget document was completely blocked off, couldn't get into the parking lot.
So it's not completely blocked off. There's an entrance from the north.
Can't get to it.
So that's something that MoDOT created now?
MoDOT was supposed to talk to all of the businesses that are affected by
They
it.
were not.
Yeah, just, you know, that will be, anything with that thing for eminent domain, taking it very taken by a state. A lot of things, I mean, want to make sure that in the back, you know, be something else, the city is going to have any liability. I would be responsible for the rough of that business. If you're, that's, you know, state in the order.
I don't know where, but I did point them to MoDOT.
Carol, who's the owner of Fairground Street?
Well, we maintain it.
The who?
We maintain it.
Well, the owners of it, right?
Yeah.
Who's saying we can't use it?
The city.
We're saying that?
Yes, we closed it.
You,
We put up-
you, okay,
Gotcha.
you don't,
It's not an acceptable alternative, right, because of the traffic, it's all.
But that street is not built to handle that kind of traffic. It's gonna crumble.
So the tear weight associated with the weight of that truck was not designed for what that.
we didn't figure out the close after we did it, and you did it.
So we're in the process, they're putting, figuring that out, be reporting to us what they're gonna do to, and that's, that communicated out to the public.
I mean, you,
You know what, change, people pissed off about change this period anyway, I mean, you know, it don't matter, and I understand this is really convenient, but at the same time, if, people talk about how this, what a waste of money, it's not gonna help, there's gonna be more accidents. That doesn't mean we make good comments, that's what I hear, why I don't read myself in these. So, the bottom line is, in a high sensitive area, in the state of Missouri, for 3 years, high priority intersection in the state of Missouri for 3 years. They don't look for somebody to spend money on to put in and out of that. I mean, you have to, yeah.
I mean, them buses are gonna be hard on that road too. You gotta think about that. Just as hard as grain truck and semis.
Oh,
Well,
Guarantee you they tear it up.
On the way.
Okay.
How many?
well, I would say we're gonna have to work on the road.
86 more days, 84 days.
No, hey,
That's 92, I thought.
stop.
70,
It's when they start,
say, what, 72 days?
62 days.
Yeah, I think 60.
62 days, 95% sure.
59.
I'll find out.
That ain't gonna make it 60 days.
I don't know how they're not far from it, they got half the round, there. And the other's right there, they don't have anything to move, no problem.
It can't be any worse than putting the stop sign. That got more attention than that.
That's it. Please update us, Tara, as we find out what's going on with that answer, please. Anything you need from me on the email. Although, thank you for your time, you're standing.
Thank you.